Only 20% of them review them regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a minority of a minority
Mm-hmm.
that actually have a plan.
Yeah.
And
in terms of broad small businesses, because that's the largest number of businesses in terms of the numbers, and then you see a lot of business opening and closing at the same time. And how do you see those economic cycles of opening and then closing, and then what are the key indicators and or levers which impact them?
yeah, businesses open and close every day of the week, and insolvencies have been at record highs for a number of years. Initially, it was a post-COVID hangover. Now it's it's tough because people aren't spending money or wages or rents or whatever. But I think back to probably something I touched on earlier about cash flow. If you have a business plan, which many don't, and I believe the theory is that 80% of businesses have a business plan. Sorry, 80% of businesses don't have a business plan. For the 20% that do, only 20% of them review them regularly. Okay, so it's a minority of a minority that actually have a plan.
Yeah.
And I've said this a few times on my podcast, but failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one goes into businesses to fail.
Yeah.
But most do, statistically, right? And here in WA, I think we're still very much in a strong cycle, a strong economic cycle, where there are a lot of businesses that are making a lot of money. But I also think there's a lot of business owners that are making very poor decisions with that money. And that is where the issue becomes, is that you're consistently focused on this optimistic grow, reinvest, buy, and very little debt is getting paid down. That's where it comes unstuck, is when it does change, or your margins change, or whatever, you've overspent, you've overcapitalized, you've got a too big of a cafe or too big of a bar, and that's where the issue is that the sound investment or financial decision doesn't probably align with the business plan because they don't have one. Or it's no longer relatable. Well, if it's not, let's bring it out, let's review it again. So, and it's why do I need to do a SWOT analysis? Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to do that? Well, what's the point of getting up every day and thinking you're doing the right thing when the chance is you're probably not? Or making the right decision, the chance is it's probably not the right decision. So that's where I think a lot of these businesses do fail, is that they don't have a plan. And if they do, it's probably not a real plan. They probably just gave it to the bank and was like, yep, this is my business plan.
In closing, I want you to give a piece of advice to the treasurer, to the current and the coming one, or the shadow, and both sides.
Right.
Because you're fair. What should be the tax policy on the table to be considered for the next budget to be planned next year? What's the tax policy they should be evaluating right now or thinking about, both treasurer and the shadow?
I think strong consideration needs to be given to GST. There has to be a very strong consideration, as opposed to reintroducing new taxes. I think we first need to look at the taxes we've got, specifically GST. And I think if they're worried about revenue raising, but equally worried about productivity, we'll look at an efficient tax, and that's GST. So my advice will be focus on GST and look at opportunities to use that tax to resolve some of the issues that they're facing. Do not introduce any more taxes. There's no need. We've already got too many taxes. The system is too complex as it is, and it's keeping me in a job, which is great, and I love that. But we don't need any more taxes, and we shouldn't be penalising people for doing well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.